Hello, my name is Bob D. Hilster, and I am a Christian who happens to like science. Today's video is about the first four words of the Bible. I'm making the video specifically to stimulate interest in a meetup group that I'm leading. Yes, it's titled Christians Who Like Science. You can look at an introductory video that I made a few weeks ago, and this is the link for that video. It goes into some detail as to why I started the group, and hopefully you would find it interesting. But we're talking about the first four words of the Bible, which are, in the beginning, God. But let's start with the first three. Everyone asked the question, so when was the beginning? We all want to know whether you are a Christian or a scientist. We all want to know for some reason. The Christian answer has been around for a while. It was a gentleman, a archbishop of Ireland named James Ussher, who went through the Bible and determined that by the generations when creation happened. He was a prolific scholar and church leader who today is most famous for his identification of the letters of the church father Ignatius and for his chronology that sought to establish the time and date of creation. And this is a quote, "The entrance of the night preceding the 23rd day of October, the year before Christ 4004. That is to say, at 6 p.m. on October 22nd, 4004 BC. Wow. As a scientist, I look at that and say, how in the world could he have been so precise? And science isn't nearly that precise to tie it down to the day and time of the exact year. But that's what James Ussher has done, and as Christians, we've grabbed onto this, and many say that this is true. But what does science say? Science, you can come at it from different points of view: archaeology, geology, carbon dating, or cosmology. My particular background in the last years of study is in cosmology, and clearly the science in that area has a lot to say about the origin of the universe based on expansion in the Big Bang. So here's science answer in terms of physical cosmology. From Wikipedia, the age of the universe is the time elapsed since the Big Bang. That's what they say. The current measurement of the age of the universe is 13.799 billion years with a 21 million year variation. Not down to the day, but the length of time is huge. This is what you hear all the time in the media. This is all based on an idea called the redshift. And if you look up redshift, it tells you that objects observed deep in space, these are extragalactic space, that is space beyond our galaxy, are found to have a redshift, and that redshift is interpreted as a relative velocity away from the Earth. That star emitting that spectral image is moving away. And that leads to the idea that sometime in the past there was a Big Bang. A little bit more about redshift. This is the spectral pattern of burning hydrogen, which you can generate in the lab, and you can see from hydrogen-type stars that are close to us. And they have these spectral lines, two spectral lines. There's a faint one over here. And when you look at a distant star and you determine their spectral pattern, the redshift of distant stars have spectral lines that are shifted to the left, to the left, to the left. The left side is low frequency. Red is actually a low frequency. Blue is a high frequency visible light. And so the light changes, is changed somehow from the time it was generated or to the time it got to us. It changed to a lower frequency and indicates that the star has moved away. Why moved away? Well, it's based on the Doppler effect. The sound of a siren from an emergency vehicle has a lower pitch as it moves away, a lower frequency. So they're applying the Doppler effect to the redshift and say, if it has a redshift, it's moving away. If it has a blue shift, it moves the other way. It's coming closer. This is all based on assumptions. All hydrogen stars emit the same spectral pattern in the first place, and there is no change to the pattern as the light moves from the star to us here at Earth. It's based on those assumptions. Well, there are other answers to this question, and other assumptions, if you will. There's a book out by Halton Arp titled Seeing Red, and yes, it's about the redshift. And he claims that there's evidence that different stars, even though they may be hydrogen or similar, actually generate it differently. And he has examples of that happening. It calls it intrinsic redshift, which means the redshift starts with the star itself, and therefore it's different. In 1929, Fritz Zwicky proposed the idea of tired light. His basic thought was that as light transitioned from the star to the Earth, it lost intensity, it lost energy. And there's an equation, this is Planck's equation, that relates energy of light to its frequency. So if you lose energy, if energy is lost and gets less than the frequency is less, well, then that explains tired light. So whether some people think that it's generated differently, some people think that, well, it can be affected in transit. Depends on your assumptions whether you're going to understand that the universe is expanding or not. Well, that all brings into a question, is the universe really that old? My particular answer to the question is a little simpler. I base it on the speed of light. The speed of light and the distance of galaxies indicates that the universe is older than 6,000 years. It's my opinion. Our nearest galaxy is the Andromeda Galaxy, also known as Messier 31, M31. It's a spiral galaxy, approximately 2.5 million light years from the Earth. It's our nearest major galaxy to the Milky Way, which one of the things you might not know or have heard, that gravity is causing the Milky Way galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy to move towards each other. And I think the estimate is something like in 4 million years, there will be a collision of these two galaxies. Not pertinent to the discussion, but interesting, but thank goodness that's a long time away. So when did the light leave Andromeda? Well, the image we see today left 2.5 million years ago because it's 2.5 million light years away. So we see Andromeda as it was 2.5 million years ago. As science says, this is like seeing history. Although we're just seeing the image of the galaxy, we're not really seeing true history like we think of it. So if the universe was created 6,000 years ago, we could not see the Andromeda galaxy because the light would not have gotten here yet. Well, you might ask the question then, was this light there at creation? Did God create the light between Andromeda and us 6,000 years ago? Don't like that answer because God would have invented a history that never existed. So I'm sorry, I don't think God would do that, and I'm not smart as God, but It's my opinion. So the universe is very old, and probably much older than 2.5 million years. However, if it was important for us to know when the universe was created, God would have told us. God would have said, in the year 4004 BC, I created the heavens and the earth. But the Bible does not say that. The idea of 6,000 years is not explicitly stated. What is important is the fourth word. In the beginning, God. And I'm going to add my words here. In the beginning, God was there. That's what is important. What is even more important is that God wants us to know not only that he was there and he created the universe, but the primary message of the Bible states that he wants a relationship with each one of us. And it does not help our relationship with God to know exactly when he created the universe. My name is Bob D. Hilster, and I am a Christian who likes science. Thank you for your attention.